everyone, my name is Richard, and on this channel I try to give you tips, tricks, advice, and how-tos on travel and outdoor content, and today we're going to learn some vocab. Now there are a lot of terms, technical phrases, and buzzwords that are used in the outdoor industry to explain or describe products, and if you don't know what they mean, it can be overwhelming when trying to decipher one product from another. So today I want to cover waterproof materials. How is it defined, how is it measured, and what kind of labeling you should look for. First, we'll start with the word waterproof. This is a term linked to many items in the outdoor industry, and it's probably the most common question I get after how much does this cost. Waterproof refers to the item or the fabric in the item being impermeable to water, which means nothing is getting through. You might also hear the term weatherproof, and this is essentially the same thing. It means that no rough weather, i.e. rain, snow, wind, is going to get through the garment. However, you might hear the term weather resistant or water resistant, but this is not the same thing as waterproof. Proof means impenetrable, resistant means to a point. So if something is weather or wind or water resistant, it means it will keep the elements at bay for some time, but eventually they will get through. Now, how long it takes for water to get through resistant fabric is dependent on how thick the fabric is, how porous the fabric is, how many layers there are, and is it treated with anything that makes it more resistant. Now, technically, on an almost microscopic level, no fabrics are truly waterproof, but they are measured in a way that determines how long they can keep water out, or more accurately, how much pressure does it take for water to get through. This is measured with static column testing. This is done by placing a cylinder 1 inch in diameter over the fabric, then measuring in water. At the point where a certain amount of water pressure pushing down on the fabric via gravity starts to seep through, that becomes the fabric's waterproof rating. So if it takes 10,000 millimeters of water pressure for the water to get through, then that fabric is rated to 10,000 millimeters or 10K. Typically, most waterproof fabrics are rated between 10K and 20K for companies to actually describe them as being waterproof. So if your jacket is 10K, then it's probably good for some snow and for light or short rainstorms. But if it's rated to 20K or higher, then it's good for heavy sustained rain or thick driving snow. The next technical term you might hear is waterproof breathable or a breathable membrane. This means that the fabric was designed with small enough holes to keep liquid water from entering, but allow water vapor, like sweat vapor, to escape. Now, realistically, no rain jacket or waterproof shoe is going to be as breathable as a soft linen shirt or a sandal, but it's going to be breathable compared to wearing a plastic bag. Another thing to keep in mind here is that the heat and pressure you build up from wearing a waterproof garment doesn't want to escape until the outside pressure is much lower than that of the inside, giving it something to actually disperse to. What I mean by that is you're going to have to start building up a sweat for the item to start breathing. The next term is waterproof layers. I mentioned the word membrane before, and in any waterproof garment, the membrane is what's actually waterproof. And typically a rain jacket will come in 2, 2.5, or 3 layers. The first layer is the face fabric. This is the outside of the garment, and it actually takes the brunt of the weather, but is not waterproof. The second layer is the membrane, or the part of the jacket that actually makes it waterproof. The third layer is the liner. This layer is there to aid in removing sweat and moisture from your body so it can evaporate through the breathable membrane. It also helps protect the membrane from grime and dirt, which would make it less breathable. If the jacket is 2.5 layers, then it has the face fabric, the membrane, and that half layer is either a mesh or printed or applied layer that doesn't completely cover the membrane, but helps keep the membrane from directly touching your skin. And if the jacket only has 2 layers, then it's just the face fabric and the membrane. When we're talking about waterproof shoes, it's implied that the waterproof membrane is sewn directly into the shoe, like a bootie or a sock. If the item doesn't have a membrane, and in this case I'm talking specifically about rain jackets, then it has what's called a waterproof laminate. A laminate is a waterproof barrier that is adhered to another piece of fabric, much like a wallpaper. A membrane, by contrast, is its own piece of fabric that is adhered to the face fabric. So if you have an old rain jacket and the inside is starting to flake away, that is a laminate. Having a garment that is made from waterproof materials is all well and good, but it can't do much if it's not seam taped. So seam tape or seam sealing means that the gap between the two pieces of fabric is taped or sealed so as not to allow water through. Unfortunately, anywhere there's a seam or a stitch, there is a weak point for water to get through. So by taping them or sealing them, you are effectively making a waterproof garment. The last vocab word of this video is DWR, or durable water repellency. This is an agent that is applied to the face fabric of an item that helps keep the water from soaking into that fabric. When you see water hit a rain jacket and it just beads up and runs off without soaking into the fabric, that is the DWR working. Face fabrics in themselves are not naturally repellent, so they have to be treated with DWR to work that way. Now, you might be wondering, if there's a waterproof membrane, why do I need to have a DWR coating? And that takes us back to breathability. So if the water doesn't run off your raincoat and instead soaks into the fabric, then the threads in that face fabric are going to expand, closing any gaps that would allow water vapor to escape, which would in turn make the garment no longer breathable. A DWR coating can also help expand the lifetime of a garment, and if you have a jacket or an item that you like to use as a wind or rain barrier, but it doesn't have a waterproof membrane, then you can add a DWR coating to help increase its water resistancy. The unfortunate thing is DWR coatings can eventually wear through or wash out, so it's good to retreat your garments every so often. This can be done with wash-ins, sprays, and in some cases, waxes. The last tip is where to look for waterproof labels. If you're looking for a rain jacket or a winter jacket, a travel jacket, or what have you, and you want to know quickly if it's waterproof or has a membrane, look on the left sleeve. Almost every outdoor company I know puts their waterproof membrane on the left cuff, whether it's an in-house membrane made by that company or a secondary company like Gore-Tex or Pertex Shield. For footwear, look on the outside edge of the shoe close to the heel. Again, it'll either be the name of their in-house waterproof membrane or a secondary party like Gore-Tex. Well, that's all I have for you on waterproof and waterproofing. With all the technologies out there, it can be difficult to distinguish one item from another or even figure out what an item is capable of. But I hope that the explanations of these terms will make you a more confident shopper. If you have any questions about the items that I covered, or if there are other outdoor terms that you are interested in understanding, just leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. I want to thank you again for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, and if you find this content useful, please consider subscribing. And as always, I want to wish you all the best on your next adventure.